to say is very simple, and it should not. Well, let me just say this. Context should come with this. The context should come with that when we talk about these post games, when we talk about these situations, they are a single-handed thing. They are a game that is looked at as the game upon itself. One game sample size when we do a post game like this. You can't look at baseball as a Blake says this, so it's a byproduct of what happened. So what I'm going to say tonight is not what I think is going to happen tomorrow. It's not what I think is going to happen Saturday. It's not necessarily complete reason to panic and freak out. But here's the bottom line truth. Tonight is unacceptable. Tonight is 1,000% unacceptable. And quite frankly, when you walk dudes, when you give up triples because you're lollygagging in the outfield, when you're doing certain things in base running and you're sending the guy to third base and you're getting an out when you know, with all due respect to Michael Braswell, who went stupid tonight, when you know he's not the fleetest of foot. When Derek Carriel doesn't slide at third base and you get an out. When you leave a changeup yet again over the plate and a guy that has not been wild all year gives up a pitch that a true freshman has to try to go out there and block and can't, and you get walked off. Guys, tonight's game is fucking unacceptable, and that is the truth. That is the truth. You know, I took some shit from people this week. Not that it really matters or anything, but I took some shit from people this week. It was simple. If you thought that team would not capitalize, or you just can walk out there and beat the shit out of them without being locked in and focused and controlling the things that you control. We talked about it fucking last night. That if you just don't control what you can control, because you saw Missouri lose. I mean, you saw Missouri sweep A&M last week. You saw Missouri 2 years ago sweep Florida, who went to Omaha. Yes, it is baseball, but you got to know that shit happens. And quite honestly, there are two things with this team that they have not figured out, and it's the truth. They haven't figured out how to compete at the plate consistently enough on the road, and they have not figured out how to hit left-handed pitching. They haven't. So then when you add on to making stupid mistakes, it comes back to bite you square in the ass. And tonight it did. Nevertheless, we're live. We got lots to talk about. We'll talk about the game. And losses like these, I normally just let you guys vent it. So we'll get to a lot of comments. But there are a lot of key things that we got to get into tonight. Guys, you better take games 2 and game 3. Because you lose the series to South Carolina, I don't know what your future holds. I still think you're definitely going to be a top 16 team. So you will have a regional at home. But it being a top 8 seed, I don't know. You still have 2 games. So pulling Cowan at that moment, who's he going to pull him for? Some of you will say Case and Evans. Guys, Case and Evans threw on Sunday. Like I saw a tweet come out today and people leading off with their show, Case and Evans, per sources, is going to start today. No, the fuck he wasn't. Like, how dumb can you be? No, he wasn't. All right. We'll get into all that. We'll get into all that. Let's do this. Let me talk about good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, you can use that promo code BELIEVE50. That's BELIEVE50, EAV50 to receive 50% off of a welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, where the game starts. So many things. College baseball, you can bet on there as well. Don't bet on LSU this weekend if they're going to continue to do what they did. But betonline.ag, where the game starts. And our good friends over at ServiceHawk Digital Media, right lead, smart systems, real growth. Get a marketing system that works for you today over at servicehawk.io. That's servicehawk.io today to get those right lead smart systems with the real growth. And our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air. Go to getgrandslamair.com. Guys, summer is quick approaching, even if you just need a service. Grand Slam is doing an $18 per month service for you to get those monthly checkups. Go on over today to getgrandslamair.com. Summer is fast approaching. Get that tune up today so that you can go through hassle-free through these summer months with your AC. Let's get into it. I see a lot of them in here. I see a lot of your comments. We will get to them. So let's do this. You know what it is. Thoughts, questions, concerns get brought in here to the Rudy Crew chat. You can bring them in. If you do leave a super chat, we do read all of those super chats. I see a lot of you are pissed off, and you deserve to be. You deserve to be. But here's the just bottom line truth. Tonight is unacceptable. Now, I've been pretty positive with this team, and I still am going to be positive with this team. Baseball does happen. I feel strongly that you can win tomorrow and that you can win on Saturday. But, guys, that shit's unacceptable. We look at these post games from a one-game sample size. So it is what it is. Send in super chat, send in your comments. We'll get to them at the end, as many of them as we can. You start off the first inning really good, though, because Danny Dickinson, after a line drive single by Bear Jones with 112 miles an hour off the bat, right back up the middle, Danny Dickinson hits a home run into left center field to get the thing absolutely rolling. Ethan Fry hits a line drive into center field at the warning track. So you started the game off in the first inning. You get a 2-run bomb. Then Ethan Fry hits one to the warning track. So you're like, all right, we're going to get this one going. We're 1,000% going to get this one going. And that's how I felt. But baseball's a long game. And from that point on, you would do things that would be head-scratching to where the microphone would catch Jay Johnson say to Derek Curiel, tell him to fucking slide. And you heard him scream it during the game. But the first inning, guys, anytime you get a crooked number, with all due respect, I'm not going to say shit, and you shouldn't say shit. I know that Luis Hernandez struck out. I know that Derek Curiel struck out. But, guys, quite frankly, if you score 2 runs an inning or 2 runs in any inning, I'm not going to be bitching about much, and neither should you. Bottom of the first, Ware hits the first batter he sees in Jackson. He gets a fielder's choice to Stephen Milam. Then he gets over to Danny Dickinson. He allows a walk and then a 5-4-3 double play to get him out of the first inning. So starting off the game, even though he gets himself out of the jam, he does give up a walk and then gets himself out of it in the first inning. Bottom of the second, you get a fly out by Pearson to the pitcher, a walk by Stephen Milam, a line drive single by Michael Braswell, who he surely wanted this game going 3 for 3 tonight. And then Chris Stanfield hitting a 6-4-3 double play. Guys, that 6-4-3 double play would be the start of multiple innings for you where you have runners on with 1 out or less that basically kills an inning for you. Kills an inning. And I feel as if sometimes, man, on the road, whether it be A&M, whether it be Oklahoma, name the team. Name the Auburn. Name the situation. Guys, you just, every time that you have an opportunity to start blowing a game wide open, you do not deliver. You're going to have to prove tomorrow and Saturday that you can do that. You're going to have to prove it. Because even though we're in the second inning and you hit into a 6-4-3 double play, I am glad that you're putting the ball in play and hitting the ball hard. It would be one thing if you're doing it once. But guys, when you're doing it multiple times, when you need to go and take the momentum out of a situation and put a team that is buried down and out for the count. Guys, did you see what happened tonight? They looked as if when they won that game that they had oh my God, I can't believe it won. And that's right. They can't believe it because you continued to put them in situations where they could claw back. Multiple times you hitting into a 6-4-3 or 4-6-3 double play. That's only the first one. Because you got to walk, you got a line drive single, and then momentum within a snap of a fingers and 3 pitches is gone. Now, I understand that is part of the game. But Jesus Christ. Bottom of the second. Well, bottom of the second, you have top of the second, you have a 6-4-3 double play. You come right out. Right out. Connor Ware, walk to the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. And quite honestly, I'm going to call Jay out on something. I don't mind Connor Ware starting, but it shouldn't have gotten the bases loaded. The dude has clearly missed it, and Newt had already been warming up in the first inning. It should not have gotten to that because you bring Newt in with the bases loaded, and even though Jay Newt goes 1, 2, 3, they get a run. RBI sac fly in the right field line drive, and they cut the lead in half. When you allow shitty teams, and South Carolina is a shitty team. A shitty team. When you give them opportunities and let somebody that has no hope stay around, they'll continue to push on. You know, it's like the girl that leads on the ugly dude all the time, the fine girl that leads on the dude that she doesn't want. She'll say something to him to keep stringing him along down the way so that he keeps thinking that he has hope. But the dude never has hope. It's made up. It's fugazi. And the South Carolina stuff is fugazi. Doesn't mean the guy can't score. Doesn't mean the guy ain't going to make out with her. Just means that when it's all said and done, what he wants is not what he's going to get. And by God, you let him stay in this one. Now, I heard some Rudy Poos this week that targeted me and me saying, Maneri and this team's going to do everything they can to come after your ass. And they're not going to fucking give up. And some of you stupid, chin-strap having motherfuckers came out here and thought that they would just lie down and literally think that they would just give up. God bless it. Jay should not have allowed that to be in that situation. Newt has got to come in before then. And listen, I never call out Jay, ever. Ever. But that is uncalled for. I know you're trying to get extension from Connor Ware, but you got to know the situation of what's going to happen there if you don't. I thought Jay made some brilliant moves tonight for what it's worth. But Newt comes in and gets 15 up and 15 down. Guys, you lost by a run tonight. Every run mattered. And the curse word that I just used was not directed at Jay Johnson, clearly. It was the people that were calling me out all week. Oh, this is the Little League. No, it's not. We know what we're talking about. Sorry that you don't. God bless it. But Jay Newt, if there is a bright spot, does come in the bottom of the second. It goes 1-2-3. Gets 2 ground balls, one that Stephen Milam that saved a pair of runs. So he gets the RBI sac fly in the right field. He gets a ground ball to Stephen Milam that it's hit really weakly after 10 pitches. 10 pitch at bat, really weakly hit to Stephen Milam. He only has to play at first. And then a really hard hit ball right back up the middle that Stephen Milam has to slide for, get up, and make an absolutely fantastic throw to get the runner out, and he does it. That could have been 2 runs. You could have given up the lead there. Those 2 walks that you had, one of them that scored, the other 2 should have scored if Stephen Milam doesn't make a ridiculous play. You got out of it because of really good defensive play by your shortstop. So tip of the cap to him. Top of the third, Curiel Jones, both strike out against a guy that has a 7 ERA. Guys, Derek Curiel just is not seeing left-handed pitching. He's not seeing left-handed pitching well at all. This team isn't. This team is, I shouldn't even point out Derek Curiel. This team does not see left-handed pitching well. They don't. You're letting a guy who has been rocked all year come in here and strike out 2 of the more feared hitters in the SEC. Guys, it is amazing to me how good a team can be against right-handed hitting or right-handed pitching and be so lackluster. So lackluster for against one specific thing like that when you have a lot of really good right-handed hitters. But in the top of the third, Curiel and Jones strike out to get the second and third strikeouts for Crowther. Danny Dickinson would ground out to second base, and you go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. Look, there is a massive positive tonight, and we need to focus on this. So Jay Newt goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second to get you out of a massive jam, a bases-loaded jam. He goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. He gets Halls, Casimir, and Jones. 1-2-3, 2 of those strikeouts to lead off the inning. Top of the fourth. This is where things get goofy as shit. This is when things start getting goofy. This one is on Jay because everything gets blamed on the head coach. This one's really not on him. The base running mistakes are on Josh Jordan, where there's got to be a conversation about that. It paid off for you in some situations. Guys, I'm not going to get on to Michael Braswell. I'm not going to do it. If he's told by his coach to get on his horse and get moving, guys, I got to be honest with you, that's not his call. So I'm not going to call out Michael Braswell, who was locked in tonight, really the only Tiger that really was locked in tonight, who went 3 for 3. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to do is simple. Jordan got bailed out on some of these. He's been bailed out on some of these really bad decisions. Really bad decisions. And in the top of the fourth, you have Ethan Fry, who would hit a line drive single right back up the middle. Hernandez, who would hit a line drive to the warning track. Pearson, it gets hit by a pitch off the head. And then Stephen Milam would hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Don't, hold on. We're coming. Top of the fifth, Michael Braswell walks to lead off the inning. Stanfield hits a line drive into right field, and you have a 9-6-5 to get Braswell out at third. Can't happen, man. It just cannot happen. Next batter, Derek Curiel walks. Then Jones hits an RBI line drive single in which you have a 7-5 putout. So he gets the RBI. You should have had 2 outs that should have never been recorded. So you're helping him. So you're finally getting to Crowther, right? Like you're finally getting to this kid. You're hitting the ball really hard. You're seeing some walks. Guys, there's nothing that he did in the 5th inning that should have allowed him to get out of that inning. You allowed him to get out of it. Because you give up a walk, he gives up a walk to Braswell, a line drive single into right field where Brassey's thrown out at third. You have Derek Curiel that walks. You have an RBI line drive single by Jones, and then Curiel gets thrown out at third because he doesn't slide. Because how many more runs could you have scored in that fifth inning? How many more runs could you have scored? That is insane to me. And that is not being focused. That is not being locked in. It just isn't. It isn't. You have so much on the line for your coach. You have so much on the line, and it's game one, so you should want to go out there and prove that. Guys, you should have scored more runs in the fifth inning. The fifth inning is where you should have absolutely exploded. The third time through the lineup, and in that third time through the lineup, you could have really teed off on this kid. You could have made him to go in the bullpen in a really critical situation. And there's no telling what would have happened. But you get 2 outs on 2 boneheaded base running decisions. The inning before, you get a line drive single. You have Hernandez. It's a line drive to the warning track. You're already getting to this dude. And the reason I combined the both was, hey, you got a line drive. Dude it's an out, but he hits a ball to the warning track. You get a hit by pitch. And then Steven Milam, momentum killer, 6-4-3 double play. Then you turn around the next inning. 2 base running mistakes. Just killers. They did not beat you. You beat yourself. You beat yourself. And that's what pisses me off. Pisses me off for this game alone. And I've said this just in case you miss it and you hadn't been here. When we look at post games, this is not a season overarching talking point. This is about a 1-game sample size. A 1-game sample size. We're just talking about 2 nights game. They should not have beaten you even when you had your lackluster play. Because they're not doing anything to make you look like, oh, man, oh, shit, they're really coming after. No, you're doing it to yourself. And every single time you play with fire, at some point you will get burned. And you just tonight in the 4th, 5th, and even not only in the 4th inning, in the 5th inning, but even in the 2nd inning. Guys, 3 massive innings where you could have gotten runs and you could have done something to capitalize off of it, and you just couldn't succeed off of it. You kept doing the things that you cannot do to win ball games, regardless of who the SEC opponent is. Guys, that situation, 2, 4, and 5, those innings lose you the game. No matter what happens with Zach Cowan in the 9th, where you're 27-0, leading after 8 innings, and they come back and they beat you. So what? You should have never been in that situation to start off with. So we can come in here and talk about Zach Cowan's getting blasted. Yes, guys, the scouting report is out. Fastball, changeup, and everybody is waiting for the changeup. They will take more strikes on the fastball than anything. He's going to have to locate and find the 3rd pitch, and until he does, teams are going to find him, and they're going to rock him. Welcome to the SEC. But last night, I told you, what were the games the 5 games that South Carolina won? What do they all have in common? Teams kept shooting themselves in the foot. They got into a little bit of a shootout, and all of a sudden, they stole one. They're not better than anybody. They're not better than you in any one area. But the 5, now 6 games that they've won in conference, all of them come off of the team that they beat doing stupid shit. Guys, it's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Those innings lose you the game. I know that Stone comes in, okay, for Crowther, and he's not bad, man. Right? Like he's not bad. He does some really good things. But the problem is that you were given opportunities, and when you had those opportunities, you couldn't seize. Because I go to the fourth and fifth innings for Jaden Newt. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the fifth. Guys, Jaden Newt came into the game and went 15 up and 15 down. $15 up and 15 down. I mean, you can blame whatever you want. Whatever your heart desires, blame it on it. Tonight, it's on the guys that are in the field. Because you had a dude go 1, 2, 3. 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings of 1, 2, 3 baseball when he came in the game. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the second. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the third. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the fifth. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the sixth. Excuse me. Yeah, no. 1, 2, 3 in the second. 1, 2, 3 in the third. 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. 1, 2, 3 in the fifth. 4 innings where he mowed them down. And in the meantime, when you have a dude that came out of the pen and mowed them down, you can't respond from it. You go to the bottom of the sixth. You got an error by Michael Braswell to lead off the inning, hard hit ball. I thought it took a goofy hop. I gave him an error. But then you have an RBI triple in the right center field. A sac fly by Jones when Chase Shores comes in. Because you're giving them the game. You make mistakes. You have an error by Braswell. Then you have a triple that gets in a run, and then a sac fly. You're giving them the game. Guys, you're allowing them to do this. Shores does come in and gets Jones to fly out. He gets a strikeout, a ground ball single into the 5-hole, into the shift, by the way. So an inning where he should have been out of 1, 2, 3, and then he gets a line out to Braswell. In the meantime, after you couldn't capitalize, guys, you did nothing at the plate. Milam fly out in the center field, single by Michael Braswell into the 5-hole. Stanfield line drive in the left field. Derek Curiel is hit by the pitch. And by the way, you got 2 runners on, and then Jared Jones strikes out. Guys, it's the same story for you on the road. The same story over and over again. You come up in critical situations on the road and you just don't deliver when you need it to. Regardless of the situation at hand. That is a problem. Now, Jay defended like, guys, we beat Arkansas. Yeah, you did. But there's 2 sides of that coin. You have not been locked in on the road. Now, here's the thing. The series is not over. It's not over. And we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's finish talking about this game. But man, I mean, you get out of these innings, and then you have opportunities, and then you shoot yourself in the foot, and you're just letting them right back in the game. Can't happen. Top of the seventh, Stone. We talked about that. Bottom of the seventh, Shores gets a line drive single, or gives up a line drive single back up the middle. You got a sacrifice bunt that Jones does an unassisted tag on Braylon. Shores would get Jackson by a hit by pitch. And then Hall would line out to Josh Pearson when he'd throw the ball back at second base to get a double play. So you got to line out into that right field, and then the massive throw and massive play by Pearson. Because Josh Pearson's the only player that was on a pulmonary team. The only player. He's the only one left. And he made a ridiculous play to get you out of the jam. So even when Stephen Milam got you out of a jam with a good defensive play, Josh Pearson got you out of a massive jam in a situation where you really needed him. Because every time that you did something great, you could not seize the momentum. And it's not like the crowd was hostile. It's not like the crowd was hostile. Guys, you had more fans than they did in there. It's damn near a home game. Top of the eighth, Danny Dickinson would hit a ground ball single into the 5-6 hole. Ethan Fry would strike out. Brown would hit a ground ball single into the 3 hole. Josh Pearson gets on base. I didn't see, so I put a star next to that. The last one I did not see. Ben was trying to ask me something, I didn't see it. But Pearson gets on base to get the bases loaded. Milam hits an RBI sac fly, does the job. F07 into left field. Braswell, RBI line drive single into left field. Chris Stanfield would strike out. So you get 2 runs in the top of the 8th, which is massive. So the one time tonight, well, 2 times, the Jones RBI line drive single and the Michael Braswell line drive single, you had 2 situations where you capitalized on. The Jones situation is kind of got an asterisk by it because of the Curiel out at third base. Because Michael Braswell against South Carolina, he demolishes them. He demolishes them. That should have won you the game. That Michael Braswell's line drive single into left field in the top of the 8th should have won it. Good on that young man. Good on him. But it doesn't. It doesn't. South Carolina would respond. Zach Cowan would come in the first pitch, or third pitch, he gives up a triple off the wall. Jake Brown's unable to catch it out in right field. Kennedy Jones comes in and gets an RBI single line drive into left field. A pitch runner, which they would have come into the game, who would be at the plate when Kennedy Jones was replaced by Gaskin as a pitch runner. You would have Aaron Beatty throw him out and Milam would hit the back foot on a replay. We were able to see that. So you got 1 out. So you give up a run, but you get it out and you have a chance to reset. Cowan does get out of the inning. He gives up a line drive single and a line drive into right field and a fly out into left field to get out of the 8th inning. Guys, you had a chance to do some damage in the 9th. You're unable to do it. Curiel and Jones both ground out and into the shortstop. Dickinson has an E5, so he gets on base. A line drive single right back up the middle by Ethan, or in the left field, for Ethan Fry. And Jake Brown comes in. Want to know how I know you can't hit left-handed pitching and everyone knows that you can't hit left-handed pitching? It's because Paul Mainieri comes in for Jake Brown and goes lefty. Now, he would have done that anyway. That's Paul Mainieri special, but he knew. He knew that Jake couldn't hit left-handed pitching. He rolls out to the second baseman. So every single time, other than a few handful of times, really the one time by Michael Braswell, when you should have blown the game wide open, you just couldn't do it. When you let a sad, sorry team hang around, that's what happens to you. Top of the ninth, to start off the inning, Zach Cowan gets a strikeout. Then the very next batter, Scobie, a true freshman, hits a home run into left center field. Walick hits a triple off the left field wall that Pearson's unable to grab. You have a hit by pitch, a line out to Bear Jones, an intentional walk, and then a wild pitch ends the game. Guys, in a one-game sample size, that was horrible. It was horrible. I know that there are a lot of emotions about this team and them getting into postseason play. And guys, we're here. I mean, we're here. We're at postseason play. I'm not with a lot of you on this team can't make a run to Omaha because they're a completely different team at home. But God forbid, for whatever reason, they got to go on the road before they get to Omaha. Guys, they might be in trouble. They might be in trouble. I just don't know how much faith I have in this team when they go on the road in some critical situations. Now, that's something that we're going to have to monitor. And they have a chance to completely redeem themselves. So now let's talk on that before we get to some comments. Here's the truth. As pissed off and as mad as you are, a lot of you, and as mad and pissed off as I am and as unacceptable as it can be, guys, in baseball, unfortunately, this one stings. This one stings. This one stings. I mean, a guy who said shit and Maneri, oh, this is the loudest stadium I've ever heard, talking about South Carolina. Oh, there's a lot of guys on this roster that Jay didn't recruit. They were my guys. That, you know, they were on the national championship team. It stings. Even them winning one of them, and especially them winning the first one. It sucks. It sucks. Guys, here's the truth. Got to move on from it. Got to move on from it. Got to go win tomorrow. Got to go win Saturday. You take the series, you're a top 8 national seed. And that is a fact. You get to 19 wins in the SEC, you're going to be a top 8 seed. Fuck, you get to 18 wins, I can make the argument. But the bottom line remains, this one, unfortunately, you got to flush it. And you got to find a way to respond tomorrow. And I hope this is a slap in the face and a wake-up call of like, listen, man, remember what happened last week to A&M? And I had so many of you tell me, well, Blake, we're not A&M. We're not. We're not. We did lose to them on the road, but we're not them. Because this is baseball, and if you're not locked in and if you're not doing the right things, this game will humble you quickly. It will humble you quicker than humble pie that your grandma makes when you do something wrong and you get your ass blistered. It better wake you up. Now, guys, the truth be told, tomorrow and Saturday, you have more of a massive advantage than any of them. You have Cade Anderson going on the bump tomorrow, and you have Anthony Ianson. And if you're going to give up a game, thank God it was this one. And I just don't want to have a situation where you have Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson where you lose one. And I don't think that you will. I know tonight sucks. I know that you have a lot of questions. I know that it is what it is. I still think that they're going to take tomorrow and Saturday. Personally, I think that they will. I can be wrong in that. I mean, I could be dead wrong in that. But you just cannot shoot yourself in the foot. If you keep doing some of the shit that you did tonight, you're going to find a way to lose another one. You will find a way. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. One other thing I want to bring up again. I do think Jay Newt has had 3 really good outings in a row. And tonight was another really good outing. Because anytime that you do what he did against any lineup, great. It's not the first time that he did it against a good lineup. And I know that South Carolina is not a good lineup, but he did it again tonight. It's the best that he had looked. Kind of lost some gas and steam there at the end. But hey, I thought he looked good. I thought he looked really good. The error's not on him. Hard hit balls are going to be put in play. They're going to be put in play, and you got to react to it. So, you got to flush it, and you got to respond from it. You got to respond from it. I can't believe we lost this game. So, look, you got to quickly turn around and take it back to them again. I don't know what else to say. If the positive thing is, for me, at least my outlook, is I think you take tomorrow and Saturday. Some of you don't have that same positive outlook, maybe. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. But one thing is for sure, keep losing these games on the road. It's a problem, man. It's a problem. All right. Let's get to these super chats. Frank Castle with 2 $20 super chats. Thank you, Frank. He says, my entire job revolves around my predictive negativity. Jay has 0. I shouldn't be calling what's going on before it happens, before it does. You must be ready to overcompensate for the worst and adjust to prevent that. He also says you have to quit that annoying negative version of yourself as a coach. But once negative plays happen, usually at 2 or a single player, a walk, a hit by pitch, give up a run, you have to move along to something else. He comes back with another one. 3 $20 super chats. He says, these kids aren't Ant and Anderson. You can't hang with them. Everyone outside your dogs should have stupid short leashes. That includes Ware, who would have gave up after the first mistake in the second. So I'm going to try to attack these any way that I can, Frank. Number one, I agree with you on Jay's decision to stay with Ware, especially after the second hitter. I can understand if – stay with me here, Frank. I can understand if for whatever reason that happens to Cade Anderson or Anthony Ianson or Casey Evans for that matter. But that's not what happened. This guy, ever since the DBU performance for Connor Ware, because he has been all over the place. He has been all over the place. I was asked yesterday when during the show, who did I think they'd go to? I thought they would start Newt. They didn't. I highly disagree with Jay on that decision. I'm sure there were reasons and he can justify it, and that's fine. But the guy showed that every time that he would get one in the zone, the next one's going to be out of it. He has not found it. Excuse my allergies. He just hasn't found it. In reference to sticking with guys, I mean, that's basically what you're saying about Ware. Here's the thing with me about the pitching performances tonight, okay? The problem that I have with it too is that you should have never been in that situation. Quite honestly, you should have won that game 9-4, 9-5. Hell, even 8-5, 8-6, whatever you want to give them. That's what it should have been. Because in that fifth inning, which we just talked about, if Carriel doesn't get out, Danny Dickinson hits a hard ground ball to second base with runners on second and third with one out. No, with no outs. With no outs. You played another run, so you lose one there. Those, I mean, hitting into those double plays killed you. Killed you. So, yeah, man, I mean, yeah. I don't agree with Jay on that, Frank. I appreciate the $60. I just don't know what else to say to that, really. I don't know what else to say to that. He says my job revolves around my predictive negativity. Jay has 0. Here's where I will defend Jay. Okay? I'm somewhat glad tonight happened because, Frank, the only – and I'm not saying I'm pushing back on you, but the only thing that I would push back, I mean, y'all heard the microphone catch him when he said it. I mean, like, he lost his godforsaken shit on Carriel when he didn't slide at third. He lost his ever-living shit at Josh Jordan when he sent Michael Braswell to third. I don't think that he is – I just don't think we see it. But tonight you got to see a glimpse of him jumping Derek Carriel's ass in front of his entire team, coming out of the dugout and say, tell him he needs to fucking slide. And let's not act like Derek Carriel didn't hear it. That stadium was empty. Guys, we could hear it. That's how empty the stadium was. The microphone was picking up everything Jay Johnson said. Steven Young says, get rid of Josh Jordan and bring back Nolan Cain. Well, that's not happening. Brandon Reese, let's get to some comments. Brandon Reese says, losing to South Carolina is almost equivalent to losing to a group of 5 team in football. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Craig says, yeah, we still only have 2 real pitchers on the roster. I don't know if I agree with that either. Look, Zach Cowan, hold on. Oh. Craig, I'm getting old and you're making me bend over. Pause. Let's talk on Cowan. Let me get to my Archie thing here. Zach Cowan. When did Cowan come into the game last week? Is this the Friday night game? It is. All right, so Friday night against Archie. Cowan comes in the 8th inning. Cowan came in against Arkansas and gave up a walk, a 3-6-3 double play, a ground out to the third baseman. He went the 4, 5, and 6 hitters of that lineup. Top of the 9th, he went fly out, strikeout, line drive single, ground out. Top of the 10th, he gave up a ground ball right back up the middle, a sacrifice bunt to himself to get an out. He got Aloy to strike out. They get an intentional walk. He had a hit by pitch, or he hit a batter, and then he struck out Robinette. So Cowan, I don't think, was bad against Arkansas. But here is the thing. There have been situations on the road where Cowan's gotten rocked. And to the point of that, and I think Evans is going to be special, personally. I think Evans will be special. In reference to tonight, and in reference to A&M and Alabama, guys, teams are sitting on the changeup for Zach Cowan. They're looking for it. They're hunting for it. They're gunning for it. And it's killing him. He's going to have to find a third pitch quickly that he can throw for strikes. Damn, Texas just walked it off. With a home run? Yeah, Texas just walked it off with a home run. Guys, they've won your SEC outright. They won the SEC outright tonight. Greg Paul says they barely had anyone there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Brian says can't win in Omaha like that. Pitiful. No, you can't win in a regional or super regional. Dustman 009 says this team is wishy-washy. I don't know what you mean by wishy-washy. But yeah, Garrison Parker says the season's not over. Garrison, I don't know what part. Hey, can everybody do me a favor in the chat? If I've said, how many times have I said tonight? Is this directed at me, by the way? Garrison, is this directed at me? I don't know if it's directed at me or not, so I'm going to wait on that. If it's directed at me, I would just say, I literally started off by saying, you got to take our post games in a 1-game sample size. I mean, I don't know how else to do post games without it, but you got to take them in a 1-game sample size. But he also says, I'll make the argument nothing can happen that takes us from the number 1 to number 9. You lose this series, you can. And then you don't win it in the SEC tournament, you could. But I agree with you on this. I don't think that you're gonna fall out. I think here's the thing. I think you're winning the series. Tonight sucked. I'm going to have to be convinced that they can beat you. Blake, they beat you tonight. No, they're going to have to prove to me that they can beat Cade Anderson. They're going to have to prove to me that they can beat Anthony Ianson. If they can do that, tip of the cap to them, and then we'll have a conversation about that. Until then, fuck them. But I do not trust this team on the road. I don't. And I don't trust this team against left-handed pitching. The Zach Cowan thing is the Zach Cowan thing. I just don't know what to make of it other than I don't know. I mean, the teams are sitting on the changeup. I don't know what else to say. Until he finds something else, yeah, Texas just won. Fuck. I don't trust this team on the road at all. I don't trust them. At all. So it is what it is, man. Craig says every pitcher we have not named Anderson and Ianson scares the crap out of me. We're going to be all right. But you did blow the game. Zeus says Chase Shores always scares the crap out of me. Yeah. 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 Brian says, disagree. We still tied, and we let them walk it off. Brian, buddy, I mean, listen. The second, fourth, and fifth inning, giving up 6 runs doesn't matter when you have guys on and you're making critical mistakes on the base path, and you should have blown them out. You should have blown them out. Dwayne says they played like they did against Northwestern. No, they played worse against Northwestern. They played worse against them. Digo 7 says they beat themselves, which won't happen very often, if ever again. We need to move on and take the series. I agree. I don't think they're going to beat themselves like that a lot either. I don't agree. Janet says, embarrassing loss. They better get it together for the rest of the weekend. I think that they will. I have faith that they'll get it together. Yeah, Craig's all here for it. Anthony says, Blake, who do we turn to if a regional, super regional comes down to a winner-take-all game situation? Case and Evans. Case and Evans. And then you got to pray to God that your bats come alive and you absolutely expose somebody. Brent says Blake Cowan is leaving the change over the plate too much. 1,000%. 1,000%. Before we get in flyouts and groundouts because he was locating up and down. 100%. 1,000% agree with you. He is leaving it out over the plate, but the thing is too, I mean, some of this is that they know it's coming. Guys, the scouting report is out on him. I mean, the scouting report is 1,000% out on him. He is going to throw 2 pitches. And until he finds a third, he does what he does tonight, he's going to get rocked. Against Arkansas, he was locating a hell of a lot. But if you're throwing 91, 92, and you're going to leave an 85-mile-an-hour changeup over the heart of the plate, guys, that's BP for these dudes. Guys, he left a 3-0 changeup on the outer half to a guy that, didn't start tonight, but either hits a bomb or legitimately is going to strike out. Jason says it was a small ballpark with no fans putting pressure on you. Should have been an easy road win. Should have been. Yep. Should have been. Steven says better host both regional and super, or we're not making it at Omaha. I'm not going to say you're not going to make it, but what I would say, is I don't trust him because I don't trust him. I don't trust him. So it is what it is. All right. Look, it sucked. Hopefully I'm right, and hopefully I'm not wrong. I still think you take the series. They're not better than you in any area. You got to go fucking take it to them. You got to go take it to him. I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. I legitimately don't. I'm stunned. No, you know what? No, I'm not. This team just continues to do the things that they do on the road. Better get locked in and focused, brother. That's all I can tell you. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Post game. Y'all have a good night. Peace.